This is very impromptu, whatever. So I'm getting more deep into um, sun activity and uh, connecting it more to the human resonance. Now, I already understood space weather, solar weather, incoming dark matter, that kind of thing. So I'm just recording this to kind of put it all together. Maybe a video, may not be. So anyway, we understand that the human resonance is the heartbeat of the earth, basically. Um, which is connected to our heartbeat. It is the frequency of the earth, which it kind of keeps us in the same frequency of the earth. The human resonance has been going wonky wonk, going cray. So it is affected by solar activity. When solar activity or geomagnetic activity increases, our environment changes as well. The human resonance changes. So I wanted to get this down on paper. I've, got this in my head, but let's just go here. We're going to talk about solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and sunspots. Solar flares are relatively intense localized emissions of electromagnetic radiation in the sun's atmosphere, often but not always followed by CMEs, which are coronal mass ejections. Coronal mass ejections are an event in which a large cloud of an energetic and highly magnetized plasma erupts from solar corona into space, causing radio and magnetic disturbance on Earth. Now, our whole system is based on me using this phone, and if I decide to connect it to any platform, any social media platform, or just the internet in general, is radio waves. Wi-Fi is radio waves. A very high intense frequency, but radio waves. So if what is said about CMEs and how it affects the radio waves. They're always talking about satellites and things like that and all that kind of stuff like that. And if that can affect the atmosphere of Earth when it comes to the things that we use as part of survival, like, how many of us are not on our phones? How many of us are not using computers? How many of us are not using Wi-Fi? That's that affects us, right? But we're also a living organism. So if that can affect Earth, which is a living organism, then we are affected in that space. So I do understand that if Earth is being affected by this at its core, then we're being affected by it at our core. And energetically, our core is our root chakra. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that we're talking about we're talking about solar energy, solar weather, solar events. So now we have to bring into play the solar plexus. So the root chakra is the base of the spine, which is where the beginning of the Kundalini energy rises. Kundalini energy is directly affected by sun energy. So it made me think, okay, let me pull out some of my books on chakras and stuff. So I pulled out this one. And I'm looking at the first thing I saw in the I was gonna go in here and look straight to solar plexus. But I saw something that says some symptoms of early release. Like, okay, symptoms of early release. It says, since we are individuals with our own history, physical conditions, personal and spiritual development, Kundalini release acts differently with each of us. These are some of the symptoms which may indicate an excessive release of Kundalini energy, meaning before the system is ready. Unexplained illnesses, erratic behavior, a feeling of losing it and difficulty coping with everyday life, chills or hot flashes, evidence of multiple personalities, excessive mood swings, depression or ecstasy, times of extreme dullness or brilliance, loss or disorientation of memory, disorientation with oneself, others, work, or the world in general. Extremes in appearance. A person may fluctuate between looking years younger one moment and 20 years older a short time later. Visual effects. Seeing lights or colors, geometric shapes, scenes from past lives or future events. So that made me think. This is totally in line with there's a longer list, and this can be physical, situations, mental and emotional situations. And I'm like, these are the same symptoms that these are ascension symptoms. And for the last few years, I've just been like, dealing with these changes that are happening on Earth. A lot of people are not going to be able to handle this incoming energy because, let me tell you something. This energy is information. Energy is information in motion. So if the energy or the amplitude of the energy's frequency, is amplified, then those who are working with a slower computer are not going to be able to assimilate to the quickness of this energy. And what that may show up with is, and like I said, it's data, it's information. So like it said, you may see, what did it say? Scenes from past lives, multiple personalities. You're not going to be able to assimilate to some of these happenings, and you will feel like you're going crazy. You may experience a mental break. Erratic behaviors as in anger, emotions arising that your old computer cannot compute how to use them, or how to, it's like, trying to put a 2024 engine into a 1900 car. You know what I mean? That car doesn't have the equipment to use that. It is like trying to use the same method that you would use in a quantum computer in an old computer that used binary instead of qubits. So this is very interesting. It's very interesting because it's taking me in a different direction on how I explain this to people during the parlor sessions. These are things that we need to know, because the frequency of the planet is raising, and higher frequencies are healing. But what also happens when a frequency raises, it automatically brings the lower frequency up to its potential. But like this said, these are some of the symptoms which may indicate an excessive release of Kundalini energy, meaning before the system is ready. There are a lot of systems that are not ready. And mostly because they're not aware that they should be getting ready. Yeah, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's just not knowing this information will affect your quality of life here. Definitely medically, health-wise, because we are also leaving a space of thinking that you can only rely on healthy when it comes to just eating right. You're going to need the real Holy Trinity, that mental and emotional and physical to come together. I mean, they've been telling you, low key, mind, body, spirit for years. But yeah, it's actually wild. The other thing that I was looking into was sunspots. Sunspots are areas where the magnetic field is about 2,500 times stronger than Earth's. It's a dark, planet-sized region that appeared on the surface of the sun. They often create solar flares and CMEs. Sunspots caused by changes in the sun's magnetic field. You have to think about this too. Everything that poses a threat to what you deem as normal or possibly, good or great. The thing that always describes what's coming to muck all of that up is something dark, something black, is something scary. And this is dark matter. This is a energy that we have not been used to. We have not been used to. And the earth has decided that it is dropping its fields and allowing purification to happen, allowing rebirth to happen, which means we're in the midst of a purge. We're in the midst of a purge. And we should know that. I don't know if y'all remember like the movie. Everybody's living their hunky-dory life. Everybody's having a good time. The rich, people just doing what they do. Not realizing that there was someone waiting for the purge to get at them. And, people believe that the purge will allow new beginnings because it allows you to release some stuff you've been holding on to. So, there's ways. I have suggestions. I have exercises. I have just, information to help with this. It's not too late. You're not running out of time or anything like that because this is a cycle. This is a era. And we are not fully in it. We're leading up to a very climactic event. So anyway, I just wanted to record this because I was in the midst of studying this on a deeper level. So I'm going to get back to it. And, yeah, that's that.